What's going on, people? Tony here, and this is Football Fan TV with my man Benji, the treble guy. Benji, how you doing, man?
Man, I'm doing all right. I'm doing all right. Just enjoying the summer, as you can see, chilling.
Last time you said I should not wear a hat because we didn't win anything. So what I hold is always a bottle with colorless liquid. So that's what I've been holding.
Yeah,
The no
as you
trophy and
should,
all
as you
that.
should.
Anyways, yeah. So how have you been, man?
I've been okay, man. Just closely watching the transfers, making sure our squad is ready for next season. Our chairman did an interview earlier this week, and man, everything he said was just promising. And yeah, man, just trying to stay sane. A world without football, you guys, it's quite hard. Eh? No football, no basketball,
You know,
man.
did you why you following the UEFA Nations League or you didn't follow it?
Yeah. I was. The finals was quite interesting. I thought Croatia would finally bag it, and then a Paninka from
You know it
Carvajal
is.
saved Spain. So man, it is what it is.
Yeah. Also, have you been following some African football? Because Uganda, man, the Cranes have just been so disappointing. I don't know if the management or the what. No wins, no nothing. The best is always a draw. The only win can be 1-0. Man, I don't know if Uganda Cranes have scored like 20 goals in the last, maybe let's say 10 years. Like the whole team, like in those recognized match. Weird, honestly.
I actually watched that game, and I was thinking to myself, back in high school, we had those guys on the school team who were too bad. But like later on in life, you wonder where do those guys go? I think there's a problem with recruitment in our Uganda Crane squad. Like aside from the management issues, which I know are right up there, I think we don't recruit. Our pool of recruiting guys into the team is not wide enough. I don't think we have the cream de la cream up there,
Mm.
and I think that's why we'll consistently have such results. I'm wondering why Farouk Mia is still in that team, for example. Like his performances have not been really good.
Farouk Mia,
After that,
really. Farouk Mia is not supposed to be in the team.
man, I watched the game against Algeria. Obviously, the superstar team, one of the best in Africa. I didn't expect much, but there's this guy who plays in our left back. He had some Stupinian runs. He was really trying his best. I think it's
He
called
was,
Mugabe or
he was the
something.
only guy, Mugabi.
He was the only guy
He's the
giving
only
a
guy who
hundred.
caught your eye, yeah? Yeah.
Yeah, he
Anyway,
really caught my
still,
eye.
another African team that surprised people was Senegal. They managed to beat Brazil 4 to
Yo,
2. So that
what a
was the
squad
only
of brains,
surprise. And man,
you guys.
I
I think
think
I'm
they were
proud of
winning on behalf of Uganda Cranes. So no problem as long as it's an African team. So we're celebrating. It's a squad 4 goals against Brazil. Man, well done, Senegal.
Well, they say the Bantu migrated from that side, so maybe those are our
They did.
brothers giving us some
They
love.
they did a favor to Uganda. Like since Uganda has failed to score, let us score 4 goals in a game. Uganda takes like months to score 4 goals. So like let's do them a
Exactly.
favor, man. Yeah. So did you also watch the game? Brazil played with Guinea over the weekend, where Brazil
No,
wore
I didn't get a chance.
the all black kit. You did not watch it. So during that game, Brazil wore all black kits, the black the t-shirt, the shirt, and also the stockings are all black to stand in solidarity with racism that has been going on, and also to stand with Vinicius after what happened in Spain before the season ended. So it was the first half they played in that kit, then the second half they came back, they changed into their normal yellow kits, and they took the knee, and then something weird. I think there were some two guys who were seated when others were taking the knee. I don't understand what was wrong with them, whether they could not kneel or what. I don't know if it was the keepers. I think it was the keeper for Guinea, something like that. But it was kind of weird. But I think all in all, it was a nice gesture that they put out. Racism has to
Yeah,
really stop in the game. There's really no room for it.
yeah, and the main man, Vinny is he's going places. After being abused about 10 times already in La Liga, he's finally been appointed as the chairman of the committee for FIFA. Actually, before that game, the president of FIFA, Infantino, met with the whole Brazilian team and like told them what Vini will be doing as the head of this committee, how he'll be in charge of coming up with new punishments for guys that are guilty for all these racist acts. And I feel like as much as La Liga fought to keep Vini, this this will be a testament. Like this time around, I think some impact will be there. Obviously, you're not going to change the fans overnight, but I think bringing in stricter punishment will definitely have an impact on the game. And hopefully, with time, they're able to educate people and sensitize them and just, show them that there's no room for this shit in sports. Because at the end of the day, man, these are the guys that are that are killing it. Look at the Madrid squad right now after the Exodus. Seven starters are black. Mendy,
Yeah.
the whole defense apart from Cavajal is black. The midfield, black.
Black.
Bellingham,
Chouameni,
Chomeni,
Kamavinga,
Camavinga, you have Rodrigo, you have Vini, you have
Vini.
Militao, you have Mendy, you have Rudiger,
Mm.
you have Alaba. Like all these are black players, yeah. Like the fans can also embrace this, and yeah, I think it's a move in the right direction, yeah.
Yeah, so I think it was a good decision. Like just like you said, if the punishments are a little bit harder, it will curb it a little. So moving away from the Brazil, Vini and the racism saga, all that. Saudi looks like a safe haven for Chelsea. They are trying to sell the whole team to Saudi. I don't know what's going on. Man, it's weird. Now Ziyech is actually the latest going to the Saudi league and from Chelsea. Mad. I
Yeah,
don't know really whether Chelsea is trying to do some money laundering to try and beat their FFP. I don't know because
regulation.
it's like all the
Yeah,
players are being sold now to the Saudi league. Now even Hudson Odoi, who is hardly 23, is likely to be sold to the Saudi league. You can imagine what's going on that side.
man. I to be honest, Chelsea has the biggest squad in Premier League, and they needed to trim that squad, which is totally understandable. I think last season they were only able to trim the likes of Batshuayi, who moved on to Turkey. But this season, like after this the horrible season they've had, I think it's the right thing to do. But Saudi, I read an interesting thread today about why Saudi is doing all this and how they're trying to make sports their next big thing because the next few years oil might not be as powerful as it is. Yeah, if you look at the dollar right
Mm,
now, economies around the world are embracing this whole de-dollarization thing, so the dollar is no longer going to be king like it has been. Same thing with oil. So Saudi is
mm.
like hell bent on investing in sports. And like they have the money in their trust fund, the wealth fund. So they'll start, I think, with these expensive players, and then later on it will just be like a normal transfer market. I joked about this in the last pod that very soon we might see Saudi in the Champions League. Trust
In the
me, they
Champions
have the
League, yeah.
money. They have the money and the fan base to convince UEFA to expand their horizons into that side of into that side of the world. The Middle East can also say we're part of Europe. So personally,
Imagine
as a
Man
fan
City
of
going to play on a Wednesday in Saudi, an
man,
away game.
you guy,
Yeah,
as
go on.
personally, I think it's not fair to the rest of their spending power is not fair to the rest of um, football. And when you see young players going, it just starts to lose meaning. Yeah, at least if it makes sense for older players. But now Hudson Odoi was supposed to go to Bayern Munich during his prime. They turned down that deal. The money was good, but Chelsea was stubborn. And now they've realized they don't need him, and now he's gonna go to Saudi at this young age. I think at the later stages of your career, it's okay to move on. But right now, man, I don't get it. Kante is gone. Ziyech is gone. I don't know why Aubameyang is not being talked about.
Koulibaly is the next. Aubameyang is likely to go. Mendy is also going to be joining them. Now you can imagine. Even Partey of Arsenal is likely to go to the Saudi league. Ruben Neves has actually gone to the Saudi
Yeah,
league. You can imagine a very quality player. And Wolves really milks a lot of money from those guys. 55 millions for
yeah,
Neves, who is very young, man. It's really saddening that those players are running there. So that brings me to
yeah.
my question. What do you think? At maybe let's say the age of 25 in your prime, what would you choose to play in the Premier League or play in the Saudi League just to get that money?
Unless you Julian Alvarez who has won the whole of football in one season, I would stay in Premier League
Mm.
because that guy has bagged every trophy there is to win. So he can now go to Saudi if he wants to. But if I'm not that guy, man, I'll stay in the Premier League. I'll fight for the Champions League. I'll try to play with quality players every week and yeah, do my best. Like, of course, right now they're going to be convincing players by saying, I mean, all these other guys are now here. The opposition is
League
harder. The
join.
league is more competitive. So it's going to be like the Premier League in a few years. But man, as a young player, I still think the Premier League is the place to be.
Okay, now it has brought mixed reactions or mixed feelings for pundits. Gary Neville says the Premier League should put a hold to these transfers to the Saudi because it looks like these transfers have no plans, no meanings, and maybe some of the teams like Chelsea are using it to beat financial fair plays. I really don't know. Then Mark Goldbridge is a Man U fan. Actually, he said,
I think Neville is still a Man U fan at the end of the day, and I think that's a very biased opinion because I mean, fair play rules have been strict on guys who are buying players, not selling players. If you're selling your players and you're making the income, it's legit cash. Yeah. When Barcelona sold Neymar for all that money, they had the cash, but they went out and spent more than that because they bought Coutinho, they bought Dembele, they bought Griezmann. They spent more than they had made from Neymar. Yeah. So that's why they got into the issues they're in. Chelsea has been spending heavily and not, they're not made any money because they've not won
close to
anything.
500 mils, actually 600.
Exactly, exactly in one season, and they didn't. They finished 11th, which means they only got money for TV rights, which was significantly low. They didn't win any trophy. They didn't make it to any finals. So them making money for me is good for them. Yeah, the investors have invested money. They've bought the team with those players valued as part of their assets. So if they get rid of some assets to reinvest that money, for me it's okay. And I think there's no need for scrutiny. Like it's the player's decision to leave. It's the club's choice to sell the player. Let the scrutiny come in, maybe in terms of guys who are bidding to buy clubs. Maybe they can have like a close eye on them and all that shit. But for me, I still think it's okay. It's good business for Chelsea. Chelsea needs to trim that squad. Every season, every week, you would see a different player on the team. You're like, this guy's still there. This guy's still
Who is
there.
this? This guy
Even
is also
Kovacic,
a player. He's also my teammate. Yeah.
exactly. Like, we're both Kovacic, but Chelsea fans are not going to miss him because they've not seen him playing in quite some time. Not because of injuries, but because he was somewhere like in the periphery, like a guy like Loftus Cheek. I mean, if you get a deal to Saudi, why not? Like, come on.
Yeah, still about Chelsea. Chelsea is actually making runs because the Premier League has barred them from getting a sponsorship deal with Paramount Plus, the shirt sponsor. I don't know why they blocked the deal, but I believe it was going to be a water or mouth-watering deal for Chelsea that was going to give them some good money. But the Premier League is like, hold up. Yeah, they've stopped with it. They're likely to go with some other sponsors, I think. Just like the betting companies that were put on hold by the Premier League, I don't understand why the Paramount Plus deal with Chelsea was put on hold.
Well, as we all know, in the last few years, all these streaming sites have been coming into the market to trim the market share that Netflix has been holding for quite some time. So Paramount Plus has been showing some games, including the Champions League final, and they're trying to grow their viewership into the UK. So having them on the Chelsea jersey would be huge for them. They'd get more subscribers and all that. But because the Premier League has partners that they have broadcasting rights with, people who pay all that money to broadcast the Premier League, it would be unfair for them to, show off some other guy who they don't have a sponsorship deal with. So Paramount Plus might have a deal with Chelsea, but they don't have a deal with the Premier League. So the Premier League is just greedy, and for me, it's an economical thing. They want to be able to make a deal with Paramount before Chelsea can also, showcase them at the front of their jerseys. I mean, you can see with Nottingham Forest. Nottingham Forest had no sponsors for their jerseys at the beginning of the season, and then UNHCR came in later, but it also took some time for UNHCR to get that deal, and yet for some time they've been the shirt sponsors for Barcelona. So it's just politics. It's plain politics, but it kind of makes more sense than the whole Neville thing of stopping players from going. Oh
Good.
man, the money they're giving those guys, even me, I would be tempted. You guys, like Ngolo Kante, you've won everything in football. Why not, right? You're gonna play with Benzema. You're gonna play with now Ruben Neves. It's like the two squads that are buying Al Nasser and Al
Al
Ittihad, and
Ittihad. Yeah.
they're owned by the same Saudi group. So the same group that owns Newcastle United. So it's going to be like an exchange program. Same thing I was telling you earlier about the Man City chairman, the interview he gave. You should watch it if you get some time.
Mm.
You see why we are what you see why we are where we are right now, because the city structure is now broad. We own 11 football clubs from Brazil to Spain to Japan. Like they've expanded their horizons, yeah. And through this, they're able to start a scouting network that doesn't need you to even buy from other teams. You're getting from within your own city group. You understand?
Yeah,
And
group.
and they're just they're releasing plans to build a stadium for the New York City team, which is huge because building in New York is hard. So at the end of the day, I feel like football and sports in general, it's a lucrative business, but it's going to be owned increasingly by groups, like not like one owner, but like groups will be coming in. Not like the Qatari guys when they buy Manu, it will also be part of their group. Man, business, yo, left, right, and center. The UEFA Nations League came in because of business. The
Money
Conference
just.
League, Conference League also business. It's just money, bro.
Well, if you're liking the content, you know what to do. If it's your first time here, make sure you subscribe to the channel, turn on the notifications, like, comment, share our content, and tell someone about the content. Now, the transfer window is officially very open, and said we'll be dropping content week to tell you maybe to wrap up the transfers that have happened through the week. The week has it ended, but yeah, we're going to go through some. The most surprising and the shocking one, Kai Havertz has gotten a here we go from Fabrizio, and he's going to be an Arsenal player. I don't know what Ateta saw in him. I don't know. I don't know how he wants to use him. First of all, Havertz doesn't know his number. I don't know if he's an 8, if he's a 9, if he's a 10, if he's a 11. I have no idea. So I don't really know why Havertz has been signed as an Arsenal player, and it's huge money, 60 million. Yeah, 60 million.
Yeah.
Why don't I go out and buy some other person with that? I can go out and get a Musiala who can play for me in the midfield, and he can go and play for me in the wings as well. I don't understand this Harvard signing, but well. I am an Arsenal fan. I'm here to support the manager. I'm here to support the players. What I'm going to do is I'm going to back the manager. I'm going to back Harvard since he's a red. I am going to support him, but no, I don't concur with that.
Who is he going to bench on your squad?
Point is, I don't know which number he plays, so I don't know where he's going to play first of all. So
I
man,
was
it's
watching him.
weird. Havertz has
I was
been
watching.
Havertz has been in Chelsea for 3 years,
Yeah.
but what has he really done apart from that Champions League goal, the winner? Only
So let me
has
tell you an
Havertz even
interesting.
scored like 10 goals or 11 goals in a season in the Premier League?
No, but let me tell you. Let me tell you an
It's
interesting
mad.
fact. Havertz was their top scorer last. He had 7 goals. Chelsea top scorer. Yeah. Even the season before.
All the Arsenal forwards scored 10 goals plus.
Yeah.
10 goals plus. Why are you spending that money on Harvard? Really?
Honestly, if he doesn't, I think if he's going to integrate him into the first team, he'll probably bring him in as an 8, and then maybe Odegaard will play Xhaka's number, which is also not fair because Odegaard has been really good in his. So I really don't see how it's going to play out.
I was I was
Um,
I was thinking I was also thinking he would slot in. You see the role Xhaka has been playing for this season that just
mm,
ended. That moving, Havertz. Okay, his super strength is the movements. His movements are good. That's the only thing. But his finishing is not clinical. He's not like that. He's not even strong physically. But his movements
yeah,
are his strength. So if he could play, you see, Jacques has scored a lot of goals this season. I think the most ever since he came to Arsenal because
yeah,
he could make those late runs, those charged runs like Gundogan does into final third to the box. So I
yeah.
have a feeling he's looking into fitting Havertz into that role that Xhaka was playing. But my worry is Zinchenko is going to invert. At some point, Xhaka covers up for Zinchenko and the left back. Is Havertz going to be doing that? That's the question. They are going to body him like nothing. So, man, I don't know what but let him cook.
Okay, honestly, I don't think this was an Ateta move. Personally, I think it was a board move. I don't think it was Ateta.
No,
Decisions
they
they
said
made.
Ateta had an upper hand even in the negotiation. He did it personally. So just
Wow.
like how he asked for, yeah, just like how he asked for Jorginho, that was how he asked Kovacic. That was it.
For
So it is an
Havertz.
Ateta move. It is
Okay,
not the move, not the board.
I watched Havertz. I watched Havertz in the game yesterday against Colombia, the friendly game which they lost 2-1. And in my head, I was like, okay, I really don't see. I remember before he came to the Premier League, before he came to Chelsea,
He was a
some friend of
beast. He
mine,
was good.
yeah, he was a beast. But anyway, let's move on. There's so many transfers to get through. We'll see how it turns out.
That's the thing. Just this thing has pissed me off. But I just hope miracles happen. Kovacic is close to joining Man City. I think personal terms have been agreed. It's just the City is agreeing with
It's done.
Chelsea.
It's done. It's
I
done.
think it
It's
will
done.
be
It's done.
it's done.
35.
Yeah, it's
35
done
mil.
already.
35 mil.
35,
Yeah.
35 mil. So
Yeah.
Kovacic is going to be, I think, the successor to Gundogan. So I think it's a good transfer.
Man.
He's going to become a. They're going to see a real player in him because Pep knows how he molds his players, how he uses
Yeah.
them. So basically, I think he's going to slot into the first team. He's not going to. Okay, it might take half a season maybe to be the real City or Pep player, but
If Bernardo stays, then he will take longer to get into the system. But it's a very good. It's a very good. It's a very very good deal. The money is good. Guy is really good. He's a very solid player. I like him a lot.
Mm.
I was reminded how good he is in the recent game against Spain, the Nations League final. That midfield that Croatia has, those guys are aging, but they've just kept us entertained for the last like 6 years. Croatia has been
Yeah.
they've not been able to get silverware, but man, there's a reason they've been in the finals, the World Cup. There's a reason they won bronze at the Euro. Like man, that midfield, top notch, top notch. So yeah, I'm happy. I'm happy about Kovacic. Really happy.
Gundogan finally gets his move to Barcelona on a free after Barcelona was given the green light by UEFA, I mean by La Liga, and also beating the financial fair play. Get Gundogan on a free transfer, and finally leaves City
Yeah,
as a treble winning
yeah.
club.
There's no better way to bow out of a team than that. I'm super happy for him, and yo, I'm really like proud of what he's been able to give us. 37 years, first signing that Pep had. He's now 32. 3 years at Barcelona would do him some good. I wrote off Barcelona a few years ago, but I can see that Xavi is trying to cook something. And since they've also, they're trying to trim the squad, I think, they'll be able to go toe to toe with Ancelotti, who is also going to be moving on to become the Brazilian coach. So
Oh,
interesting
it's
times in La
confirmed
Liga.
now.
Yeah, it's almost confirmed, though the deal will mean he'll start in 2024. Between now and
Mm.
2024, he'll most likely have his son as the standing coach. Yeah,
Mm.
his son will move in and like hold the fort until he moves in 2024. But the deal is almost complete.
I didn't know that. Now, Mount United came with 50 millions, and Chelsea said no, we want more money for Mason Minerals Mount. But Mount, really. If I'm Chelsea and I'm getting 50 million for my academy graduate, why don't I get that? You're lucky that someone has come in and they're paying
No,
that money. Why don't you pay that money? Why don't you accept that money?
let's not forget who came with the bid. It's Man United. Man United is an egoistic buyer. When you tell them the money is too little, they'll come and add on money, even though the player is not worth that money. Manu, honestly, we shall have a special pod for Manu, and I need Manu fans to be on that pod where we can dissect them properly. But
Mm.
Mount, let me
50
just
mils,
die.
and the guys have said no, bring more money. Whoa, those guys are not serious, man.
Mount
Hey,
was a
hey,
Lampard player,
50
and that's
Mount, Mount is just like the next player we're getting to. Declan Rice, Henderson, and Mount. Those are players who are not hugely talented. They always have like that luck that keeps them moving and one quality
yeah.
attached to them. For Henderson, it is leadership. For Rice, it is leadership and his ball carrying abilities. Other than that, I really don't see like much. So that brings me to Rice. Arsenal first went with the wait, is it 80? They're like, yo, we brought you some money here. Then, they told them, man, are you buying super rice or pilau or something? You want to make pilau? First go back and add us more money. So, Arsenal came back and bought two more coins. They're like, yo, we've added some money. we want basmat now, not the normal super rice of Pakistan. We want
Not
basmat rice. And the
Pakistan.
guys
Yeah.
were still bounced. They said, yeah, not Pakistan. They're like, yo, we want 100 meals and maybe 20 more in add-ons. So Rice is still on the right of Arsenal. It looks like it's the number one target, but it's going to drag long. And I think West Ham is waiting for a bidding war from City. They think City is going to charge in late and some money for him because of Gundogan's departure. So they're waiting for something like that. But I was told West Ham or Arsenal is very calm on the situation and putting the money in bids because they already have terms with Rice. I mean, they've already agreed terms with Rice on personal terms, and then Rice has told all those clubs that have approached him that I only want to join Arsenal. That's why they are not putting in the bid. Arsenal
Yeah.
maybe is doing the right thing, but you never know. Chelsea might come out of nowhere and they'll be like, okay, West Ham, what do you want? You want money for 3 kgs of basmat? Okay, we're giving you that basmat. Arsenal was paying a price for Super Rice, which has some stones in it, so we can't wait. Let's just get this guy and run, man. So you see, I don't know. I would love Rice, but I don't know really. Maybe the coach knows how he's going to use him and all that. And looks like Pate is also going to be sold. Saudi.
Yeah.
The three teams that have come in for him, they're likely to pay 40 mils. 40 mils for Pate, no problem. This is like the only chance to sell him if you can get someone who
Yeah.
can fit in well because they got him for 50. Actually, that was 45 million pounds. That was his release clause they paid. And now Pate is 30. If you're to recoup that money, this is the only chance you have. So, if there's a good chance that comes, or sell him and then maybe get a Caicedo. Chop off that money, get a
100 mil.
Caicedo, get Lavia as well. Have
Brighton is asking for 100 mil for Caicedo, and
Brighton is
Chelsea bid at
striker.
100. Yo,
How much did Chelsea put?
100 mil.
Chelsea
They
is
put
mad,
in the
and
100
they're
mil.
just going to get that money like that. They're going to get that money, and that guy is going to go to Chelsea. And I would love to have Caicedo other than Rice. By the way, that's like my opinion because I
Yeah,
think
I think.
Caicedo is a proper bowler than
Yeah,
Rice.
me too, me too, me too.
Rice
Rice is
is
a British
overrated.
player. I'll always say this: British players, out of like 500,000, you'll find two gems, and they've already gotten the gems of this generation. That's Phil Foden and Bellingham. The rest of them are rubbish. So people
And
are
Bukayo
wasting time.
Saka that
Oh,
list. He had a
sorry.
hat trick as well over the
His
course.
first hat trick. I was really happy
His
for the
first
kid.
career hat trick.
I
Yeah.
was really happy for the
So
kid. Yeah,
Rice is just so overrated.
yeah. There's so many British players that are in that bracket. Sancho, White, all those guys are just they're not built for greatness. They're not built for the long run. I don't know what this guy is going to do with Bukayo and Foden because he really has to find a way to fit them into that squad. They are his best players, and if they
There's
have any
also
chance to
Rashford,
beat
MBE as well. So where is he
fuck
going to?
Rashford, fuck
He might
Rashford.
even not
He's
get
been
any chance.
not in that generation. Fuck that. He has been around for too long.
uh,
His best season, he has
Rashford.
nothing.
Yeah,
Rubbish,
yeah.
rubbish, rubbish.
Yeah, so anyways, I think we'll end it at that today. It has been a very nice one. I hope you guys who have been watching have enjoyed this one. Like we said earlier on, make sure you subscribe, like the thing, smash the like, yeah. As usual, share and tell your friends about the pod. So we will have one of you guys soon on the pod.